Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP 15-U483CL. I don't know if this is a pavilion or what, because there's no stickers or anything on it. But yeah, we're going to be using a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. We're also going to use a small flathead screwdriver to get these little things out. And yeah, alright, I don't think there's any other hidden screws. Actually, there probably are, because there's one hidden there. So I don't know if there's any hidden under these. Nope. Okay, I think somebody already opened this, because that shouldn't come out that easily. But yeah, let's go ahead and peel this off. They put some tape here. Okay, so somebody opened this before. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and get all these screws out. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. It looks like they broke all the screw mounts because those aren't coming out. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take this thing apart, to be honest, because of the way it's broken. But we'll see. Alright. But anyways, you want to keep the screws in order. I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them so that I can keep them in order. And yeah, let's go ahead and get all these screws out. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, I don't know, they broke a bunch of these screws. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them out in the end. We'll find out. If I can't get them out, then I don't know how I'm going to be able to open this computer. But yeah, we'll see. I might end up having to tell the customer that I just recommend they get a new one if it's not even going to be openable, because their battery is also broken. So they need to replace the hard drive and the battery on here. And then if the case is going to be a pain to open, it might not be worth the effort. But let's see. Alright, so I'm going to switch over to this small flathead screwdriver. And what I'm going to do to get this out is I'm going to push on this so it flexes inwards, and then that creates a little gap around the edge here and allows me to get the screwdriver in there. And as you can see, we can lift it out. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to go over to this side, same thing, kind of push in there, get in the gap, and then we're going to pop that out. Okay, there we go, and there we go. All right, let's get these other two screws out. Alright, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get the cover off, but we'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom out again, and let's see what we can do. So, normally, what I do is I go from here, and you can actually see there's a gap between the palm rest and the bottom cover. So I get in there with my fingernails, and then I push on here with my thumbs to pop this out, just like this. You can see the cover actually pops out. We're going to work our way over to the edge. You can use plastic pry tools to do this, but this actually works a lot easier, and that's why I kind of just let my fingernails grow out. Okay, so again, we're going to kind of work our way over. And I think this model actually we lift from the top. Is this one of those? Oh yeah, it's one of the models that flip all the way backwards, so it's like a 360 model. Anyways, let's go ahead and see about lifting this up. If the screws are all broken back there, we can probably just pop this out, and it looks like we can. Alright, so there we go. As you saw, we popped this up, and then we flipped it this way to pop it this way. And the reason being is all these cables back here, we need to disconnect. So here you can see they actually broke all the plastic mounts. So these, the screw mounts that hold it are actually stuck in there. Okay, let's actually zoom in. Okay, so to remove these cables, you just flip the latch here. This is the keyboard backlight cable. Once you flip that, you can go ahead and pull the cable out. You got the trackpad cable here, flip that latch, and the keyboard cable here, flip that latch, and get this out. It's pretty dusty and dirty in here, so I am going to have to clean that up. I don't know if you can see that right there. But yeah, we'll set that aside for now. Okay, I don't know what they did with the keyboard backlight cable, but that looks very badly crunched up, and it shouldn't be like that. So I'd actually be amazed if their keyboard backlight even works. I wouldn't think it would work with the way it's crunched like that. Can try and bend it back, but I don't think that's going to do anything. Alright, I'm just going to leave that as is. All right, so their hard drive is actually bad. It's not booting. Their computer's not booting. Oh, this rubber thing is just falling out from underneath. And their battery is also bad. So battery model is here. Let's go ahead and flip this latch to pull this out and take a look. NP03XL. Okay, battery connects right there. There's all this broken plastic in here that I need to clean out. All right, before something breaks. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and take a look, because the main thing we need, we're gonna have to replace the battery. And then also their charge port's a bit loose. It doesn't look like it's loose on the inside here, so let me see. It does move a little bit. Let me see if I hold it still, if that's gonna help at all. No, it's still loose. So I think their charge port's actually, sorry, you can't even see, but yeah, so their charge port is actually bad here. The cable falls out so easily. Like, it doesn't take much force to pull that thing back out. But anyways, their charge port might be okay. If you're gonna mess with the charge port thing here, because you will have to take the hinge out and everything, which is gonna be a pain. I am gonna tighten these screws from the other side, because if these screws come loose, the hinge will actually break and come out, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna actually tighten up these screws really well. All right, and these screws, I should probably also put some thread lockers so they don't come loose on their own. All right, this cable, if you're gonna mess with it, make sure to disconnect the battery and then press and hold the power button for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Let me actually do that real quick. So battery connector's right here. We're gonna use the wings and just wiggle this to pull that out. The RAM is replaceable, but it's underneath the motherboard. I can actually see it sticking out right there. All right, so yeah, the RAM is replaceable if you're wondering. Okay, battery is held in with 3 screws, it looks like. I see 2 screws here. Let's actually take that out. I'm gonna zoom out so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so we're gonna take these screws out, and I'm gonna have to see what the customer wants to do, because the battery's not charging at all. Okay, so we'll get this out. Once you do that, we should be able to lift the battery out. We're gonna use this tab to lift it out, just like that. You can see how dirty it is inside. All right, but here's the battery. Pretty easy to remove and replace if you need to. The main thing though, you wanna make sure when you get the replacement battery that you have it facing the right way. Okay, you don't want this connector facing upside down. You want the metal pins, exposed metal pins facing up. So if you get a replacement battery, make sure you have it going the same way, and then plug it in straight and push that in. All right, we're gonna pop that back out because we don't need this battery since it doesn't hold a charge. I think they probably left it sitting too long. I'm gonna hold the power button for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power and make it safer to work on. And then we'll remove the LCD connector and clean this up. Again, the RAM is upgradable, but it's underneath the motherboard, so most people probably aren't gonna wanna go into that risk or depth with all this broken plastic. I'm pretty sure their hard drive failed because of like shock damage or something. Anyways, you got this cable here. You can flip this latch up, and then you can go ahead and pull this out. And here you can see you have access to the DC jack charge port connector in here. I don't know if this metal, does that go underneath? It doesn't look like it goes underneath the motherboard. So you will have to remove all these screws, and I mean, most people will have already removed these screws from the bottom, but because the thing broke, they're stuck in there. So I'd have to use pliers to hold this and then remove those. But yeah, all right. What else? I guess one of the screws fell out because this came out. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna have to clean up all that broken plastic stuff that's falling out everywhere. I'll clean the dust out of here and then we'll continue. But I'm gonna let the customer know first to see what they want to do. Hard drive is right here. You can flip this latch up, and then once you flip that, you can lift this slightly and pull that back, just like that. There's 2 screws holding this down, so you can remove those 2 screws. Okay. Once you get those 2 screws out, we can actually lift this up here. All right, it's a little bit stuck because the rubber. So lift it up like that, and it looks like there's no screws holding this. It's just, yep, little rubber pieces that hold it in place. We are gonna upgrade this or replace this with an SSD and then do a clean install. And then also to remove this, you get in here, I use my fingernail and then I use the back of my thumb to kind of pry it like this on this piece here. Okay, so just like this, pry it, you can see it pops out, and then you can do the same thing going to this side, and then you can kind of pry it. And the reason I do that is because if you pull here, a lot of times you end up pulling this stuff out and you don't want to separate those layers. And yeah, there we go. So we're going to put this on an SSD later, assuming the customer does want to fix this, because again, we do have to replace the battery and stuff. But yeah, all right. Anyways, I'm going to contact my customer, let them know, and depending what they decide, I'll be back and put this back together. And yeah, I'll clean this stuff out. All right, see you guys in a bit. Bye. All right, so I'm back. I cleaned up the underneath the keyboard and everywhere else. I'm gonna hold this so it doesn't fall out. There was a lot of broken plastic pieces. I had to shake them all out, but here you can see this is a lot cleaner now. Okay, this stuff is kind of stuck there. It doesn't want to come out, but you can see it's a lot cleaner. Okay, here you can see this is a lot cleaner as well. I think I actually need to take the fan out just to be safe, because I did see some pieces in there that I kind of want to make sure they fell out completely. At one point it looked like there was a plastic thing rolling around in there, so I just want to make sure 100%. I don't want to give any chance that there might be broken plastic in the fan, because that can cause problems. All right, and we're gonna brush this off. Why not? Okay, brush off underneath. Okay, good. All the broken plastic pieces are gone from there. Okay, so we'll put the fan back in. And if you wanted to replace the fan, I don't know what the fan model number is here. Let me actually see if I can show you. I'm gonna disconnect this by wiggling this connector. Okay, just keep wiggling it, and hopefully it should eventually pop out. Wow, it's in there pretty tight. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to use 2 fingers like this. Just keep wiggling it. Wow, this is actually in there really strong. So if you have to remove this fan, I don't know, good luck. It's pretty tough. Wow, yeah, that's, I don't know. Use my thumbnails because they're stronger. And even that's really tough. Jeez. What about pulling it up slightly? No, I'm gonna end up breaking those wires, so I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna end up breaking my thumbnails, but let's go ahead and keep trying and wiggling and pulling. There we go. As you can see, you want the metal pins facing up. Okay, here's the fan. I don't know if that's the part number there, 776213-001. All right, there's another number down there. And then on the back, you have also this number here, if you can see that, the KS something, KSB0705H BA15. All right, anyways, we're gonna put this fan back in here because we're done with that. Let's go ahead and plug this cable back in. Again, you want the metal pins facing up, and then pinch the two together. I'm surprised actually that it didn't rip this connector off the board with how much force it took to get that thing out. All right, I'm gonna put the fan screws back in. Pretty straightforward, just get them in there. Okay, we're gonna proceed with the SSD thing, and then the fan I'll have to do late, or not the fan, the battery I'll have to do later. I guess I can put the old battery back in for now. Or actually, I'll show the battery and the DC jack charge port. So I'll just wait before I completely reassemble this. But let's go ahead and get the SSD. So we got this. All right, comes in packaging like that. You can technically use any 2.5-inch SATA SSD or hard drive in here, as long as it fits in the slot. They're usually all about the same size. All right, it's pretty rare now that they'll use any different sizes. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to get the little bracket thing over here. We're going to put the SSD cable on here, just line that up and push that down. Okay, and then we'll get this plastic piece, get those 2 pegs in the side there, swing it over and get the other 2 pegs. Well, let's actually do this side first. Okay, and then we'll do this side because that's how we removed it and it was easier that way. Yep. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and slide this rubber thing back into place. You wanna actually slide the bottom in first because you see it has these feet and that gets tucked under there. Then we swing this down, push that into place, and then we'll get those 2 screws in. Okay, so we'll get this screw in here. Good, and this screw in here, and now we have the SSD in place. We're gonna reconnect this cable here. Let's zoom in. Whoop, that might be too much. I can't move the laptop over that much. Okay, there we go. Make sure this latches up. Then we're gonna tilt it down. Okay, get that into place. All right, and make sure that's in all the way. And then we will latch that back over. Perfect, just like that. All right, let's actually put these, I'm gonna tighten up these screws here that I was talking about earlier. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. So we have this one that's coming out and we have this one. Oops, sorry, this one and this one. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use some needle nose pliers to hold that into place. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show this on camera. Yeah, no, that's gonna be, it's too difficult to kind of hold this up, I think. Let me see, I guess you guys can see. So I'll hold that with needle nose pliers and I'll get the screwdriver underneath and we'll just tighten that up from there. Okay, and normally I wouldn't do this on camera because it's hard to hold it at this awkward angle, but hopefully that helps some of you guys. Okay, I don't know how many people are going to have this kind of these screws broken. I have a feeling that people didn't know these hidden screws were here and they just undid them or ripped out the top cover without removing them, and that's probably how they broke those. Okay, and then we have the other one. So what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna take the screw here. Okay, and we're gonna put the screw through. I can't see what I'm doing. There we go, put the screw through, and then we'll take this piece that came off and we'll hold that in place. Oops. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. I might have to just stop the video here, but let me try. All right, get that in there and we'll tighten up. Yeah, you guys can't even see what I'm doing because of the way I have to hold this. Is that upside down? No, that's right. Okay, and then we'll just tighten that. All right, and I'm gonna use pliers again and hold that while I tighten it up. And we just want to make sure it's completely tightened into place. There we go, just like that, so it doesn't go anywhere. All right, and I'm going to do that on the other side, but for now, these two screws, I'm going to add thread locker to make sure they don't go anywhere. All right, because we don't want these screws coming loose. That's how it rips out the hinges, and that's going to be a bad thing. So we don't want that to happen. So we're going to add some red thread locker, just a tiny bit. And then we're going to get that screw back in, and that way these screws should never come back out on their own. As you can see, it's really loose right now. I was able to easily undo that screw, and that's what we don't want. Okay, so we'll get the thread locker in there, and we'll tighten that down. Make sure it's nice and tight. Perfect. All right, let's actually do the same with this side. It might have actually been better if I did those screws first before I tighten these ones, so that way it makes sure that they're completely down. Actually, I'm not going to do this one yet because I am going to have to take this out later. So for now, I'm just going to make sure these are somewhat tight, and then I'll worry about those when I have to redo the charge port and the battery and everything. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. I guess you guys are going to just see a jump cut to when I have the new parts, but I'm not going to have those parts for a few days. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. All right, bye. All right, so we're back with the replacement battery and charge port. As you can see, we're gonna remove the keyboard palm rest assembly again and set that aside. Okay, and let's go ahead now and put this thing, or all the new parts, back in. Okay, we got the battery here. As you can see, looks like this. Here you can see the old one, kind of inflated, all right, bulging out, and you can see this one is flat. Okay, again, you do want the pins facing up, I believe, on this one, which let me double check with the old battery. Okay, because I'm pretty sure I didn't twist it around. So, yep, all right. So let's go ahead now and put this battery back into place. We're just gonna drop it in. Okay, there we go. And then we can go ahead and put back the batteries. There were 3 batteries. Okay, I got a bunch of stuff from another laptop all over my desk, so now it's going to be hard to move this thing around. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Since I showed it close up earlier, hopefully it will be easy to kind of follow. Okay, just getting the 3 battery screws back in. This wire, I think the cable is actually longer than the original one. Yeah, so you're going to have to kind of like have this excess slack going around. Okay, so let's try and actually tuck it down there and then see if we can fold it back like this. Okay, so we're gonna fold the excess back, sort of, or you can kind of like curve it around sideways like this, whatever works for you, and then we're gonna get that in there. But let's see here. Yeah, all right, that looks right. Okay, so I'm gonna plug in the battery after I get the charge port in. So let's go ahead and get that. Okay, we're gonna have to remove these 2 screws that got stuck before. Okay, so we're gonna have to use the pliers to hold that because they're holding from the bottom. I'm just gonna do it like this. Hopefully you guys get the idea, but I'm gonna hold the screw mounts with the pliers and then use the screwdriver over here. Okay, pretty straightforward, nothing special about it. Okay, and we're going to use the other one. I know, I'm sorry I can't get good angles because it makes it very difficult to do this. But hopefully you guys will understand what's going on. Okay, so now that we got those 2 out, we're going to get the screws out from the corner over here. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to lift it enough that we can take that out. Again, we've been leaving it sitting a while and the battery was disconnected and power button was held for 15 seconds, so we can go ahead and unplug the LCD LVDS connector. All right, next we're going to take these screws out, holding the hinge down. Okay, again, keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. I'm actually going to put some thread locker here to help hold these screws in so they don't come out. The screw that was over here is shorter than the rest, so if you're removing that, keep that in mind. All right, here you can see we can kind of lift this up now, but the other screw is making it a little difficult, so let me see if I can just pry this up. I'm going to use a T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this. Can I do that? Maybe not. Okay. Oh yeah, I can a little bit. All right. And I just want to move the hinge up out of the way a little. Perfect. Now we should be able to lift the DC jack charge port up and out, just like that. Oh, this plastic here is kind of breaking. All right, anyways, we got that. Make sure you take note of the wires. There's the reds here and the whites there. And then you can kind of grab this and wiggle and pull it out, just like that. And we're going to put the replacement one in the same way. Okay, so this wire, I might have to get my head in the way. Okay, get that lined up. I'm trying to bend it in a way so I can easily maneuver it. Okay, just like that, and then use the wings or edges and kind of just wiggle and push that into place. Perfect. Then we're going to curve this around and we're going to get this charge port back in. Okay, so get that into place just like that. All right, and then we got to tuck the excess slack out of the way just like this. push this back down just like that, and then we can get those screws back in. Again, I'm going to use a little thread locker here to help hold it down. Okay, just a little bit. You don't use much of this stuff. All right, you just barely touch it to a drop. You don't get the whole drop on it. Uh-oh, it's getting a clog. Okay, just a tiny bit. And then we're just going to tighten this down. Just like that. All right, perfect. Get another screw. Same thing. Okay, just touch a little bit to it and tighten that in. Perfect. All right, last screw holding that part. Good. All right, then we got to get the screws back under here. So, yeah, sorry, but I have to tilt it like this to do this. But basically what I do is I just hold the little brass piece in place with the needle nose pliers. Okay. And then I get the screw in with the screwdriver. Okay. I just hold it onto the screwdriver like this. Okay. First I'll push the screw through and then I'll line it up. And then we'll just tighten that down. Okay. Make sure that's nice and tight. Get the other one and do the same thing. Okay. Get the screwdriver in, line it up, and tighten that in. Okay, perfect. Should be good in terms of all the hinge screws now. So we'll set that aside. Put the battery in. We just got to plug it in now. So the battery, again, just line it up. Again, you want these metal pins facing up. Make sure you get the connector in straight. You don't want it to go crooked at an angle. And then push the thing in. There we go. Here you can see how we have the excess slack. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and get this cable in. I probably actually should have put this one first, but it should be okay. Okay, and then latch that down. All right. I think all we got to do now... Oh, shoot. I didn't put back the... what do you call? I didn't put back the LCD cable first, so let's disconnect the battery. Okay, and we're going to press and hold the power button 15 seconds. To drain any residual power. Again, this is very important when messing with the LCD and LVDS connectors. If you don't do this, there's a very good chance you're going to end up damaging your computer, the backlight keyboard, the backlight for the screen, sometimes the LCD, and sometimes even the LCD cable. All right, so there we go. Let's flip this latch up, get this lined up, and get that into place. Good. Latch that down. Very important you have that lined up right. Make sure this follows the little grooves here, so when you put the cover on, it's not going to smash and damage anything. Okay, we can go ahead now and put the battery connector back in. Make sure when you insert it, it goes in straight, not at an angle. And pinch that together. Good. All right, let's put the keyboard back in. Okay, so keyboard backlight cable, line it up. Good. Flip that latch down. Okay, keyboard and touchpad connectors. Oh, actually, are those more difficult to reach? Yeah, let's put this one last because that's kind of shorter. Okay, so keyboard connector. So much dust on this thing. Okay, let me clean that off real quick. The problem with cleaning the keyboard connectors is they're a little bit sensitive, so you don't want to move them around too much. All right, get this lined up. All right, push that in, make sure it's good. Flip the latch down, touchpad connector, same thing. that in, line it up, make sure it's good, flip the latch down, perfect. And now the keyboard backlight connector. In, right, latch it down, and then we'll carefully flip this back over. Let's actually power it up and see if it works. I might have to plug it in. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to turn on. Let me go ahead and get the plug. I'll get the plug and I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in and see what we got. Charge light is on, good sign. Power button. Okay, it's turning on. And also, because we removed the battery, which I think is also being used as the CMOS or BIOS battery, it's going to take a while to boot up. It's probably going to power cycle a few times, and that's normal, so don't worry about it. Assuming nothing else got screwed up, but we'll give it a little bit just to see. All right. Okay, I'm seeing the screen like flickering on and off slightly. So that usually means it's going to be booting up. Yep, there you go. So it's saying to install an operating system, and that's normal because we replaced the hard drive with an SSD and we need to put Windows on it. So I'm going to actually put my Windows boot drive into there, and then we actually need to snap everything back together, but I'm going to plug that back in. If you're wondering how to boot into the boot options, I believe it was F9 for HP. Yep, and there you go. And now I'm going to boot from my USB, and this is now just basically installing Windows. I have 64 and 32-bit loaded on there. Of course, I chose the 64-bit option. Okay, let's go ahead now and just snap all of this back together. If you're working with a regular spinning hard drive, you don't want to snap this all in while the computer is running. But because it's an SSD, it should be okay. It's not going to have any issues. SSDs don't have any problems with vibration. All right. So we're going to basically load up the Windows installer. We want to make sure the SSD is detected. So right now it's in English. Is their tab key doesn't work? Oh, it does. Okay. For some reason, I think the touchscreen pressed something else. All right. Then we're going to go next. I'm going to press enter to install now. Sorry, I know there's so much reflection. Alright, we're just waiting for this thing to start up. Once I see the Windows installer starting, then we can go ahead and put all the screws back in and the little rubber feet and everything. Alright, we're going to press the spacebar to accept the license terms, press enter. We're going to go down to custom install, make sure the drive is blank, 0 unallocated. Alright, we'll press enter to start, and there you go. It's installing Windows. So we should be okay as far as Windows installation goes. Let's go ahead now and put back all the screws, okay? So very simple, straightforward. Again, I did put these bottom screws in with the little brass pieces in advance just to hold the hinge onto the bottom cover. Since the plastic to the palm rest is broken, I can't really do it afterwards, so I had to do it in that order. Okay, then we got the 4 screws going across here, so we'll get all of those in. All right. Pretty simple, straightforward. And also I have to make sure that the battery is holding a charge, so once I finish with this and the initial Windows install is completed, I'm gonna actually pull the charger out just to make sure it stays on. Okay, and get all these 4 screws in. And other than that, that's pretty much it. We got to put the little rubber feet back on and the little plastic screw cover thingies, of course. But that's pretty much all there is to this. Let's go ahead and put these little pieces back. All right, so we have this little oval or whatever it's called. Get that back in. There we go. Get this one back in. There we go. Rubber foot here, they had tape holding it in place. Okay, I think it was like that. So we'll just stick that back in. Alright, and this rubber foot was holding itself, but the adhesive is not too good. Go, we'll stick that in. I think they actually switched some because, wait, this is a smaller one, this is a bigger one. Okay, so actually this foot actually probably came from down here. There we go. All right, let's flip this over and see what we got. Okay, Windows is still installing, getting files ready, 94%. Okay, so we should be good, 95%. But basically, it's just going to go through the normal setup. I guess, should I try unplugging it right now? Okay, I'm going to try unplugging it. Hopefully it stays on. Good, it's staying on. Okay, so we should be good in terms of, yep, charger light comes on nicely, and we should be good. All right, that's pretty much it. Basically, Windows install as normal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.